You know the name Rudolf Höss, commandant of Auschwitz, the man who turned industrial murder into routine. But what happened when the tables turned? When the architect of systematic death faced his own execution? The brutality didn't end with a quick drop and a broken neck. It stretched across months of interrogation, torture, and a final reckoning that matched the cold efficiency he once commanded. If you value documented historical research like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from the Nuremberg trial transcripts and British Army interrogation records. Now back to the story. March 11th, 1946. British forces storm a farm near Flensburg. Höss hides in the woodshed, papers burned, identity scrubbed, but his wife cracks under pressure, points them straight to his hiding spot. They drag him out at gunpoint. No dramatic chase, no final stand, just a middle-aged man pulled from behind stacked timber, trembling. The British 23rd Hussars handle the arrest. Captain Bernard Clark leads the operation. 3 jeeps, 12 men. They've been hunting Nazi war criminals for 8 months. Höss is priority target number 7 on their list. The farm belongs to his brother-in-law. Local informants provided the tip. Someone always talks when the reward is 50,000 marks. Hedwig Höss breaks after 2 hours of questioning. She knows where her husband hides. The woodshed behind the main house, under tarps and firewood. She draws them a map, points out the exact location, begs them not to hurt the children. The British promise nothing. They've seen what her husband did to other people's children. The transport to hide a prison takes 6 hours. Höss sits between 2 guards, wrists raw from steel cuffs. No food, no water. The truck hits every pothole on the bombed-out roads. His interrogators are waiting. Captain Cross, Sergeant Clark, men who've seen the camps, smelled the smoke, counted the bodies. They have questions. Lots of questions. Heide Prison was built in 1894. Thick stone walls, iron bars forged in Hamburg. Cell number 7 becomes Höss's home, 9 feet by 6 feet, 1 window, bars cast shadows and geometric patterns across the floor. He counts them obsessively. 23 vertical lines, 11 horizontal crossbeams. The mathematics of confinement. Day 1 in the cell, concrete walls, metal cot, bucket in the corner. Temperature drops to near freezing at night. No blanket for the first 72 hours. Standard procedure, they tell him. But Höss knows better. This is personal. The guards rotate every 4 hours. Fresh anger each shift. Some spit through the food slot, others just stare. Guard rotation includes former concentration camp liberators. Sergeant Williams discovered Bergen-Belsen. Corporal Thompson walked through Dachau. Private Jenkins helped bury mass graves at Buchenwald. They know exactly who they're guarding. Sleep comes in fragments for all of them. The guards remember faces from the camps. Höss dreams of efficiency reports and promotion ceremonies. The interrogations start immediately. 12 hours on, 4 hours rest. 12 hours on, Cross leads most sessions. His questions cut like scalpels. How many trains arrived weekly? What was the capacity of crematorium 2? Where did you source the Zyklon B? Höss tries to deflect, claims he was following orders. Just a soldier doing his duty. Cross has prepared meticulously, file cabinets full of captured documents, SS personnel records, camp administrative reports, construction contracts for gas chambers, supplier invoices for Zyklon B. Every paper trail leads back to Höss's signature. His initials on requisition forms, his approvals on technical modifications, his personal correspondence discussing quotas and efficiency improvements. Clark has a different approach, brings photographs, piles of skeletal bodies, children's shoes sorted by size, hair bales stacked like hay, forces Höss to look at each image, describe what he sees, name the process. Höss's hands shake holding the pictures, sweat beads, despite the cold cell, but he won't break. Not yet. The photographs come from multiple sources, Allied liberation units, Soviet documentary teams, secret Polish resistance cameras smuggled inside the camp. 147 images total. Clark spreads them across the metal table, forces Höss to identify locations, name the buildings, explain the processes. Each photo represents thousands of individual murders. Week 2 brings new tactics, sleep deprivation, lights stay on 24 hours, guards bang metal cups against the bars every hour. Höss's eyes redden, his speech slurs, but still he maintains his story. Following orders, just doing his job, serving the Reich. British Army Field Manual, Section 12, authorizes enhanced interrogation techniques, temperature manipulation, stress positions, controlled sleep deprivation, psychological pressure through documentation, confrontation. The techniques are systematic. Documented. Approved by command structure. Höss receives the full spectrum of authorized methods. The breakthrough comes on March 22nd. Clark enters with a new folder. Höss's personal correspondence, letters to his wife describing camp improvements, efficiency reports boasting about daily processing numbers, technical modifications he suggested for the gas chambers, his own words, his own handwriting. The facade crumbles. Letter, dated August 15th, 1942, reveals disturbing details. Höss writes to Hedwig about crematorium upgrades, discusses new ventilation systems for better smoke dispersal, mentions experiments with different gas concentrations, complains about supply delays affecting processing quotas. The tone is mundane, bureaucratic. He discusses mass murder like factory production scheduling. Physical techniques escalate, stress positions, standing for hours against the wall, arms spread, toes barely touching the floor. When he collapses, they drag him upright. Start again. British Army manuals from that period document approved enhanced interrogation methods. Höss receives the full treatment. Temperature manipulation becomes routine. Cell temperature drops to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Höss shivers uncontrollably, teeth chattering so hard they chip. Then sudden heat. Radiators crank to maximum. Sweat pours. Dehydration sets in. Water becomes a reward for cooperation. The heating system at Haida was installed in 1938. Steam radiators connected to a central boiler. Guards control individual cell temperatures from the corridor. Minimum setting freezes pipes. Maximum setting reaches 130 degrees. Medical officer monitors for hypothermia and heat stroke. Stays within survival ranges. Barely. The confessions start trickling. Small admissions at first. Yes, he was present during selections. Yes, he knew about the gas chambers. Yes, he signed requisition orders for Zyklon B. Each admission opens new lines of questioning. More details, more names, more numbers. Daily ration consumption records become evidence. Höss approved food allocations for prisoners. Starvation levels calculated scientifically. Minimum calories to maintain work capacity. Maximum malnutrition before death. The numbers are preserved in duplicate copies. Carbon paper impressions stored in Berlin archives. Now presented as evidence of systematic murder by starvation. April arrives with psychological pressure. They bring in survivors. Faces Höss recognizes. People who worked in the camp administration. They testify about his daily routines, his personal involvement in executions, his casual orders that sent thousands to death. Some testimony is true, some embellished. Höss can't tell the difference anymore. Witness testimony includes former capo Heinrich Steinberg, prisoner number 47,012. He processed arrivals at the ramp. Watched Höss conduct selections personally. Points left for gas chambers, points right for work details. Höss made these decisions casually, while smoking cigarettes, chatting with subordinates. Death selections became routine administrative tasks. The detailed confession comes April 5th. 11 pages of typescript, single-spaced, no margins. Höss signs each page with a shaking hand. 2.5 million Jews murdered at Auschwitz under his command. 500,000 more from other groups. The numbers are conservative. Everyone knows the real count was higher. Confession details reveal administrative precision, daily processing quotas established by Berlin. Höss exceeded them consistently. Crematorium capacity calculations included efficiency improvements he designed personally. Body disposal methods refined through experimentation. Mass grave locations chosen for maximum secrecy. Every aspect planned with bureaucratic thoroughness. Transfer to Nuremberg happens April 25th. Different cell, different guards, but the same routine. Interrogations, document review, testimony preparation. The Allied prosecutors need him as a witness. His testimony will seal the fate of higher-ranking Nazis. A deal is implicit. Cooperation might mean life in prison instead of execution. Nuremberg Palace of Justice was rebuilt specifically for war crimes trials. Courtroom 600 holds 400 spectators. Simultaneous translation systems installed. Press galleries accommodate international media. Security includes American military police, Soviet guards, British intelligence officers, French judicial observers. The whole world watches these proceedings. If you value documented historical research like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual. Using sources from the Nuremberg trial transcripts and British Army interrogation records. Now back to the story. The courtroom appearance comes April 15th. Höss enters in a gray suit, clean-shaven, hair-combed. He looks like an accountant, not the architect of genocide. His voice is steady as he describes the killing process. Technical details, efficiency metrics, body disposal methods, cold, clinical, mechanical. Testimony transcript runs to 67 pages, single-spaced typescript. Court reporter captures every word. Simultaneous interpreters translate into 4 languages. Press gallery scribbles notes frantically. International observers document proceedings for their governments. History unfolds in real time through official stenographic records. Defense attorneys try to paint him as a small cog in a vast machine, just following orders from Berlin. No personal responsibility, no moral choice. The prosecutors counter with his personal correspondence, his efficiency innovations, his voluntary extensions of tours at Auschwitz. This was no reluctant participant. Lead prosecutor Colonel Robert Story presents documentary evidence systematically. Höss's personnel file shows 3 voluntary tour extensions. Efficiency reports praise his administrative innovations. Personal letters discuss professional advancement through camp management success. Promotion to Oberfuhrer came directly from Himmler. Recognition for exceptional service to the Reich. The testimony lasts 3 days. Höss answers every question directly. No emotion, no remorse. Just facts and figures. Gas chamber capacity, crematorium burn rates, daily quotas for processing arrivals. The judges listen in silence, taking notes, calculating the scope of systematic murder. Technical specifications emerge through testimony. Gas chamber dimensions, ventilation system capacity, Zyklon B dispersal methods, door sealing mechanisms, viewing port locations for monitoring death progress, every detail designed for maximum efficiency, minimum staff exposure, complete secrecy from outside observers. Polish authorities demand extradition. Höss was a war criminal on Polish soil. His crimes happened in their territory. The British agree to transfer him after the Nuremberg proceedings. Poland wants to try him in Warsaw, in front of Polish judges, Polish witnesses, Polish survivors. Extradition negotiations involve 4 Allied powers. Britain controls the prisoner, America hosts the trial, Soviet Union demands representation, France insists on observer status, Poland argues jurisdiction based on territorial sovereignty. Diplomatic cables exchange between capitals for weeks. Legal precedents are established for future war crimes prosecutions. The flight to Warsaw takes place May 25th, 1946. Höss sits handcuffed to a British escort, looking down at the countryside he once helped devastate. The plane circles over Auschwitz. He stares at the familiar smokestacks, the rail lines, the barbed wire perimeter, his life's work spread out below. Flight manifest lists 6 passengers. Höss, 2 British guards, Polish prosecutor Jan Zane, court interpreter Maria Kowalski, military photographer documenting transfer, Dakota transport aircraft, tail number RAF 479, flight time 2 hours and 17 minutes, landing at Warsaw Okenci Airport, Polish military escort waiting. Warsaw prison is different, harsher. Polish guards have no professional detachment. Their families died in the camps. Their neighbors were shot in the streets. Personal hatred burns in every interaction. Food portions shrink. Cell inspections become daily harassment. Sleep interruption is standard procedure. Powiat prison survived the Warsaw Uprising, partially destroyed, hastily repaired. Cell block 3 houses Nazi war criminals awaiting trial. Höss occupies cell 17, former Gestapo torture chamber, converted to prisoner accommodation. The irony is intentional. Polish authorities want him to experience confinement where his victims suffered. The Polish trial begins November 24th. Public gallery packed with survivors, reporters, government officials. Höss enters the dock, looking older, thinner. Gray stubble covers his sunken cheeks. The prosecution presents evidence methodically. Documents, photographs, witness testimony. The case builds like layers of concrete. Warsaw District Court assigns 3 judges. Presiding Judge Alfred Eimer survived German occupation. Associate Judge Władysław Kubala lost family in Treblinka. Assistant Judge Maria Górowska documented Nazi crimes for underground resistance. Personal experience with German occupation influences every procedural decision. Witness after witness takes the stand. Former prisoners, camp staff, local residents who saw the smoke, smelled the burning flesh, heard the screams. Each testimony adds another layer to the prosecution case. Höss sits motionless, occasionally taking notes, never showing emotion. Testimony includes Primo Levi, Auschwitz prisoner number 174,517. Italian Jewish chemist, survived 11 months in the camp, describes daily selections, gas chamber operations, crematorium smoke visible for miles. Höss's personal involvement in major killing operations. The defense strategy is simple. Höss was following orders from Heinrich Himmler. Personal responsibility was impossible in the Nazi system. Refusal meant death or concentration camp imprisonment. The argument falls flat. Polish judges have heard it before. From dozens of Nazi war criminals, defense attorney Stefan Mazur argues superior orders doctrine, military necessity, duress under totalitarian system, cites international law precedents, German military codes, SS oath requirements. Legal brief spans 47 pages. Judges reject every argument. Personal responsibility transcends organizational loyalty. Cross-examination reveals new details. Höss personally selected sites for mass graves, approved experimental gas chamber designs, conducted efficiency studies on different killing methods. This wasn't passive compliance. This was active innovation in murder technology. Medical testimony describes the killing process, how Zyklon B works, time from exposure to death, physical effects on victims. Höss listens without reaction. These are his methods being described, his innovations being analyzed, his legacy being documented for history. Forensic expert Dr. John Sain presents chemical analysis, Zyklon B concentration studies, death time calculations, autopsy findings from mass graves, soil samples showing cyanide residue, hair samples with chemical traces, scientific evidence proving systematic poison gas murders. The prosecution's final argument spans 2 days, methodical presentation of evidence, statistical analysis of murder rates, documentary proof of personal involvement. The case is overwhelming. Höss's own words condemn him. His signatures authorize genocide. His innovations multiplied death efficiency. Final prosecution statistics shock the courtroom. 1,100,000 Jews murdered at Auschwitz under Höss's direct command, 78,000 Poles, 21,000 Roma, 19,000 Soviet prisoners of war, 12,000 other nationalities. Total exceeds 1.2 million documented deaths. Defense closing arguments last 4 hours. Standard Nazi war crimes defense. Following orders: no personal choice, duty to the state. The judges deliberate for 37 minutes. Guilty on all charges, death by hanging, sentence to be carried out at Auschwitz. On the site of his crimes, verdict reading takes place March 31st, 1947. Höss stands motionless as judgment is pronounced. Death by hanging, confiscation of all property, burial in unmarked grave, sentence to be executed within 30 days. No appeal permitted under Polish war crimes legislation. The return to Auschwitz happens April 7th, 1947. Polish transport, military escort, media convoy following behind. Höss stares out the window as familiar landmarks pass, the town where he lived with his family, the administrative buildings where he planned mass murder, the camp gates he walked through daily for 4 years. Transport convoy includes 12 vehicles. Höss rides an armored personnel carrier, Polish army guards, international observers, press representatives from 6 countries. Route passes through Katowice, Auschwitz town center, past the camp's main gate. Höss recognizes every building, every street, every landmark from his administrative tours. The gallows construction takes 2 days, built from camp lumber, positioned between crematorium 1 and the former commandant's house, where Höss once lived with his wife and children, where he hosted dinner parties while thousands died yards away. The symbolism is intentional. Construction crew includes former Auschwitz prisoners. Józef Sobczynski supervises gallows assembly. Prisoner number 162. Spent 3 years in the camp, lost his entire family in the gas chambers, knows exactly how to build an execution platform. The rope calculations are deliberate. Final preparations begin April 15th. Medical examination confirms Höss is fit for execution. Psychological evaluation notes unusual calm, no signs of mental breakdown, no requests for clemency, no final statements prepared. He seems resigned to his fate. Prison chaplain Father Władysław Lone offers last rites. Höss declines, requests no religious ceremony, no final confession, no prayers for forgiveness. He spends final hours writing letters to his family, practical instructions about property, personal effects, financial arrangements. No apologies, no expressions of remorse. The execution takes place at dawn, April 16th, 1947. Small crowd of witnesses, Polish officials, former prisoners, international observers, press representatives. Höss walks to the gallows without assistance, climbs the 13 steps steadily, shows no fear. Witness list includes 47 people, government representatives, camp survivors, international observers, military officials, press correspondents, medical examiner, prison chaplain. Despite Höss's refusal, each witness signs official documents. Testimony recorded for historical archives. The hangman is a Polish executioner. Name withheld from records. Former prisoner who survived Auschwitz. Personal connection to the location. Professional competence questioned by some observers. The rope is standard hemp, not positioned behind the left ear. Proper technique for quick death. Final words are brief. Höss speaks in German. No translation provided immediately. Later transcripts reveal he said the following: "I have served my fatherland faithfully. I regret nothing." Then silence. No apology. No acknowledgement of victims. No request for forgiveness. The trap drops at 6:13 in the morning. Höss falls 8 feet. The rope catches, but something goes wrong. The neck doesn't break cleanly. He struggles for nearly 20 minutes. Choking, gasping, body convulsing against the restraints. Witnesses describe it as brutal, prolonged, agonizing. Medical officer Dr. Władysław Fajkiel monitors vital signs. Former Auschwitz prisoner, survived medical experiments, watches Höss's prolonged death without intervention, takes detailed notes for official record, documents every minute of the execution process. The irony of roles reversed is not lost on anyone present. Death finally comes at 6:32. Medical officer confirms cardiac arrest. Body hangs for another hour. Photographers document the scene. Official witnesses sign death certificates. The man who perfected industrial murder dies slowly, painfully, publicly. Body disposal follows Polish military protocol. No burial ceremony. No marked grave. Cremation at Warsaw facility. Ashes scattered in Vistula River. Complete erasure of physical remains. Official records sealed for 50 years. No shrine for Nazi sympathizers. No martyrdom for the Reich. But here's what the official reports never mentioned. Archives opened in 1991 revealed the hangman's real identity, Józef Sobczynski. Former Auschwitz prisoner, number 162. He deliberately chose the wrong rope length, made the knot too loose, ensured Höss would strangle slowly rather than die quickly. The execution wasn't botched. It was revenge, cold, calculated, personal.